I've done it again. I've sort of pushed the practicing back farther than I anticipated. Just let work get in the way, let other stuff get in the way. The resistance is real, people. It is real.
If I can find it. Just chill, chill, chill. Air part is gonna make a loud noise. You ready? I mean, it is a Los Angeles gas station, so. Oh man, this hill doesn't look steep, but or maybe it does. Does it look steep? You can't really tell from this vantage point. What about now? Does it look steep?
Welcome to episode 31. If you're just joining this vlog, one of the reasons I'm doing this is to help me get over my own perfectionistic procrastinativation tendencies. See, I have this problem where I can sit on an idea forever because it never feels like it's right. It never feels like it's good enough to put out. I think one of the reasons that I'm drawn to the idea of improvisation, you can't go back and fix it. You can't sit there and tweak it. You know, you can't make it just a little bit better. You can't change the font size just a little bit or rewrite that sentence just so. Anyway, let's get to some questions. Here's one from Ben. It's a long one, so I'm gonna just kind of, question is, do your muscles ever flare up as a result of long and or intense periods of playing? And if so, how do you deal with it after it happens? I try to avoid long periods of intense playing. If you're new to this vlog, and if you were to start from the beginning and work up till now, you'll realize that I have a problem with practicing. Like, I am trying to be better about it. I'm not very good at it. I don't love it. I guess what I'm saying is I don't have a problem where I'm never practicing too long that it hurts my muscles. What I do is I try to practice very efficiently. It's about economy. How can I do the most with the least amount of time or the least amount of, it's not effort. Like, I put a great amount of effort and thought into what I'm doing. I try to be very present and focused, but I don't spend a ton of time. I'm not really big on the quantity part. I'm more so about the quality. This is gonna sound obvious, but really warm up your forearms. I spend some time before I'm gonna practice doing, you know, I'll shake my arms out, I'll do some stretches. I got a couple lessons about this in my online site, like, you know, very specific things, but it's just in general, like, I just want my wrists loose and my forearms warm, you know, whatever that takes. And take breaks, you know, just don't do things repetitively. You use common sense, you know. I don't mean to, like, I'm not trying to poop on the question. I'm just throwing this out there. And more importantly, how do you approach high pressure situations such as, but not limited to, are you a lawyer? In order to avoid the buildup of muscle tension. Okay, just breathe, relax. Look, my philosophy is that if you practice slow, you'll train yourself to do things in a relaxed manner. Tom asks, what straight ahead tenor solos do you recommend for transcribing? Oh my God, there are so many. Off the top of my head, Sonny Stitt on Body and Soul and Mote and Swing from the album Sonny Stitt, The Best of the Verve Years. Stan Getz on Pennies from Heaven, and what's the end? I Want to Get Happy, or I Want to Be Happy, Get Happy. I want something with happy in it from Stan Getz, sits in with the Oscar Peterson Trio. Those two, and maybe I think he does Three Little Words on there. All three of those, great. Sonny Rollins, St. Thomas, kind of like a must do. Charlie Parker, Just Friends from Bird with Strings. Sonny Stitt and Sonny Rollins from The Eternal Triangle. Man, there's a lot. There's so many, but that's enough to keep you busy, honestly, for like a decade. So also, I transcribed a lot of Chris Potter, like young Chris Potter. When I was young, I was transcribing a lot of Chris Potter, the Chris Potter between the ages of 19 and 26 for him. Like, I absorbed a lot of his music then. Here's a cool question. Ryan asks, I was wondering if you could maybe give some pointers on how to make life easier for sax players when you're playing with them. Just some things that are either annoying or appreciated from the perspective of a sax player. So Ryan's a guitarist. I'll just speak for me. If you were playing with me and you hear me start to stretch the harmony, don't try to go with me on every little twist and turn. Leave me some room. You know, you got to take this on a case-by-case basis, but I'm just speaking personally. You know, I find it a bit annoying when the piano player or a guitarist tries to almost like demonstrate how much they're hearing what I'm doing. Maybe I'm just playing like something that doesn't make any sense, but I have a plan for how I'm going to resolve it. So if you try to go with me, like, you're messing up what I'm trying to do. So I'm just throwing this out there as something to consider. Sometimes the best choice is to lay out or to play very simply. The opposite of that, please don't purposely try to trip me up. That annoys the crap out of me too. Like, let's first agree that we're just trying to make great music. That's just, there's a vlog I have, I don't know what episode, but it's called Listener First. So maybe go watch Listener First. Kaleem asked, what was the first solo you transcribed? It was probably Kenny G. It was definitely Kenny G. But like after I got into jazz, it was either Sonny Rollins' St. Thomas or Joshua Redman Blues on Sunday or Sonny Stitt Moten Swing. And finally, this one from Ludwig, who asks, what's the longest time you've been off practicing or not practicing? Did that time off the saxophone make a massive impact on your sound or just enough to not give you any vibe or feeling? Did you feel any different? Absolutely. Well, first of all, I've, for me, notoriously taken a lot of break. Here's the thing. Every once in a while, it's great to take an extended break. I thoroughly believe that. And the saxophone is way more forgiving than, for instance, a brass instrument. However, when I get back from those breaks, let's say I take a week off, you know, I'm not gonna lose like I'm not gonna lose the knowledge that I have, right? But I'm gonna be, my fingers, my embouchure, everything's gonna be weak. And I gotta sort of, it's gonna take me a week just to get up to speed from a muscular point of view. There's also then mentally, you know, there's cobwebs going on. You can do a lot of stuff away from the horn. Like there's a lot of practicing you can do that has to do with visualization and things, and you know, you can be practicing music away from the horn, but the physical elements of playing the instrument, they are not gonna forgive you if you take time away. That's just a cold hard fact. That's it for now. Tomorrow, I think it's time to tackle this nonsense back here, this empty CD case and this mess of bookshelves and the whole mess out here. Let me just show you. Like this nonsense, this stuff has got to get dealt with. Like tomorrow, I think tomorrow is the day we deal with that. What do you think?